Hi, and welcome to another session of Living Room Yoga with Marissa. I'm so glad you're here, and I can't wait to lead you in your practice today. So please keep in mind that this is your practice. I'm only here to guide you, and I can't see you. So be mindful of your own body, what your strengths and weaknesses are, and where you need to modify to make things easier for yourself or perhaps harder. If you know you want to go into a different posture than what I'm explaining, go for it. The second thing to keep in mind is to always, always, always breathe. So make sure you're taking nice deep breaths in and out through your nose if at all possible. Today's class is going to be a really fun 30-minute flow. I realize that if you're anything like me, sometimes 30 minutes is all you have to work out in a day. Or to just have some alone time or be on your mat. You definitely don't have to look at this as a workout. It can just be movement and breath work and feel really, really good. But if that's the case, I hope that this practice will serve you. It'll be kind of fast paced, but hopefully flow beautifully, and we'll be working towards Bird of Paradise, which is a little bit more of an advanced posture, but there's a lot of things you can do to work your way towards that pose that may feel really good and help build you some strength and flexibility and balance in places you didn't know you could. So, with that said, you may want a strap for today's practice, specifically working into Bird of Paradise. If you don't have a strap, don't sweat it. You can use almost anything, a belt, a scarf, a t-shirt, anything that gives you, I would say, a foot or two of length. You probably won't even need that much. You'll probably only need 6 inches to a foot. So it doesn't have to be as long as a strap. So gather that and a block and come back to your mat. We'll be starting in an easy seated posture. Also, if you'd like to play a playlist with this class, you can find my playlist on Spotify under the profile marissa.cecchi. And I have a lot of playlists there, and you can find one that you're going to enjoy or that meets the 30-minute criteria of this class. And it will start slow, build, and then end slow so that you can have a nice playlist to go with class. So go ahead and start in an easy seated position on your bottom, sitting up nice and tall, root through your tailbone. Let your hands relax on your knees. Let your hips fall open wide. Close your eyes and take a few nice deep breaths here. Every inhale, feel your lungs fill up your belly and your chest, your side body. And every exhale, feel that deflate as your shoulders melt away from your ears and the energy just rolls off your arms and your fingers. Take a second to gently lift your pubic bone, drawing your belly button into your spine so you can sit up really tall and supported, and relax your hips and shoulders. As your eyes come open, inhale your arms up to the sky. Exhale up and over to your right side. Reach long through your side body as you exhale. Inhale reaches up. Exhale, reach all the way over to the left side as you exhale. Inhale comes up. Exhale, hinge all the way forward, reaching out in front of you as far as you can. Feeling that stretch in your hips. Let your forehead fall towards the mat. And slowly start to walk your hands back in. Switch feet. Bring the other leg in front. Inhale your arms to the sky. Twisting to the right this time, bring fingertips to 6 and 12 o'clock. Using your fingertips to gently push your torso around. Maybe you even gaze over your right shoulder. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist over to the left. Inhale, arms to the sky, palms face forward, hinge at your hips, and then you can release your hands down and slide them forward as you draw your chest and heart and forehead down towards the mat. And walk your hands in. Bring your feet to the mat. Coming up onto your sit bones, elongate, really lengthen your spine, and start to hinge your back towards the mat. You want to make about a 45-degree angle with your back to the mat, and then lifting your toes off. Really lift your heart. The goal here is not to round, it's to lift, but also feel the connection in your core. And you can hold right here. This is perfect. You can also reach your hands. And if you want to go for more of a challenge, we'll lower to boat. So you want to make a boat or a banana posture as you exhale. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. 2 more times. Boat. And up. And boat. And up. Rock all the way over onto your hands and knees, coming into cat stretch. Make sure your wrists are right under your shoulders, knees are under your hips. Inhale, gaze forward. Stretch your belly out. Exhale, tuck your tailbone round. Inhale, lift your heart and your gaze gently. Arch your back. Exhale, round. You can always rock forward and back. Take some side-to-side movements or circles. Cat-cow is here for you and your back, so make sure it feels good. Curling your toes under, lift your hips up and back into your downward facing dog. 3 nice deep breaths here. You can let it go through your mouth if that feels good. Making sure your shoulders are plugged into their sockets. Your rib cage is reaching towards your hip bones. So you want to try to make sure that core is nice and engaged. And feel free to bend your knees as much as you'd like to get that tailbone reaching towards the sky. Gaze at your fingertips. Step or hop your feet into your hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach all the way up, coming to standing. Exhale, reach up and over to the right. You can interlace your fingers or open your arms, letting one hand fall towards the floor. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, open up into a gentle back bend. Shine your heart. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step or jump back to your plank. Holding here, let your shoulder blades draw towards one another. You do want to push away from the mat so we're not tucked in like a turtle, but then you can let your shoulder blades draw towards. You can keep your toes up or toes down. Take a half push-up, chaturanga. Inhale into upward facing dog or cobra. You always have the choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Really spread your fingertips nice and wide, pressing into your fingertips. Gaze at your fingertips, step or hop your feet to your hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Bring your toes to touch. Inhale, reach all the way to the sky. Exhale into your chair pose. Shifting the weight into your left foot. Peel your right toes off the mat. Hook your right ankle to your left knee and sink low. You can bring hand to foot and knee, or you can bring elbows to foot and knee if that feels really good. This will be more challenging on your balance. Make sure that right foot is nice and flexed. Help protect that knee. You can always take this posture in a very shallow stance or really sink deep to get into that right hip and challenge your left thigh. Now take it one step further. Gently start coming up just a little bit, not all the way, and just slide that leg up and over, coming into eagle stretch. Really squeeze your thighs together like you have to pee, or like maybe you have $1,000,000 bill between your two thighs and you don't ever want to let it go. Right arm comes underneath. You can bind your hands or bring them to your shoulders. Inhale your fingertips up. Exhale, shoulders and hips down. I know that left thigh is talking to you. It's okay. You are strong. You are powerful. You've got this. Slowly unwind. Bring your toes to touch. Inhale, lift all the way up. One beautiful motion. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step or jump back to your plank. You can take a chaturanga or go straight to down dog. If you're taking a chaturanga, lower halfway, curl your toes, lift up in some form of that. Then exhale, downward facing dog. One breath to reset. Gaze at your fingertips. Step or hop your feet to your hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift all the way up. Toes to touch. Exhale, chair pose. Slowly peel your left foot off the mat, bringing left heel to right knee, and then sink low if you can. If you'd like to bring elbow to knee and foot, you can. See how that feels, or you can just grab. Either one is perfect, or you can just hold here. Enjoy the hip stretch or not, but do feel that hip opening. Hands to prayer, come up just slightly so that you can guide that left knee over your right. Squeeze your thighs together. If this left toe hooks around your right leg, that's totally fine, but you do want to try to keep both knees facing forward. That's what's important, and squeeze of the thighs. Left arm comes underneath, wrap your palms. Inhale, fingertips up. Exhale, sink your hips and shoulders down. Slowly unwrap, unwind. Feet come together. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step or jump back to your plank. Again, you can lift right to down dog or take your chaturanga. Totally up to you. There's freedom here on your mat. Don't box yourself in. It has to look like this. It has to feel like that. It has to be this long. I have to wear this. I have to diffuse that. Just give yourself a little freedom, a little grace. Bring your toes to touch. Float your right heel into the sky. Bring it in for 3 core planks. So draw your knee in like you're trying to kiss it and come forward into a plank, but your knee is hovering. Inhale your heel back to the sky. Inhale your knee to your right elbow or shoulder. So it's out to the side. Inhale, lift. This time, tuck it underneath, bring it towards your left elbow or shoulder. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze it forward, planting it on your mat, and then wiggle your heel to the outside of your mat. Bring your shoulder to the inside of your right knee. Coming into lizard stretch, you can keep that back knee up or you can lower it. You can keep up on your hands or you can lower down on your forearms. I like to lower onto my forearms on a block. I find that to be the perfect in-between for me. And again, you can kind of gently guide this right knee open or turn it out. Find a position that's going to work for you. The whole point here is to open up and stretch your right hip and groin area. So just deepen into that however you'd like. Coming up onto your hands. If you have a block or something you're using as a block, shift it forward. Wiggle that foot up underneath you. If you don't have blocks, I can't recommend them enough. Even if you're only a semi-regular regular practicer of yoga, it can be a huge tool. So curl your back toes under, lift that knee, and then bring that foot in a foot or two. So now you're in a really shallow lunge. And you can hold that block here. You can keep your hands on the mat or your shin. We're going to slowly straighten very gently into that front leg, coming into your pyramid stretch. Keeping our back long and straight. You're sending your tailbone out behind you. So you want to think not rounding and tucking, but really lengthening and letting that long energy shoot through your spine. Really give you a lot of maximum benefit here. Stretching over that right leg. Nice deep breath. Great thing about a yoga video, unless you're watching this live, of course, is that if you just want to be here a little longer, just hit pause and take your time. Now, bringing your block in front of you, bend your right leg, bend your supporting leg, and start to shift your weight forward. You can use that block for support as you lift your left leg into the air. You can also, of course, just be holding onto the floor. Your supporting leg can be nice and bent here. That will actually give you a lot of right glute work, so that might feel really good. It can be straight. Just be mindful of your hamstring, of wherever you're at with that. Back leg is super straight, super strong, lots of energy coming out of that leg. It doesn't matter how high it is, but it does matter that that leg in the air is super straight. Now see if you can start to lift your torso, swing your leg through and lift that knee in front of you. Maybe you could do it without touching the floor. Maybe you had to totally touch the floor, and that's totally fine too. You could keep your knee here or draw it in for tree pose. Tree pose can also be done with your foot on your calf or your ankle. It doesn't have to come all the way up. If you're here and you want to play, you can open up your arms, grow your branches, sway them side to side. If you really want to challenge your balance, close your eyes. Our spatial awareness relies heavily on our sight. So closing your eyes removes that, those visual bearings that we have. It makes balance very challenging. It can be really fun to play with. So for some fun here, release your leg, but instead of putting it down, see if you can send it back. So really bend into your supporting leg. See if you can send that foot all the way to the back of your mat and lift up into your crescent lunge. Beautiful. Let your hands come down to the mat. Find your plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. If you like, you can always skip, take a child's pose, or go straight to down dog. One nice deep breath here. I like to let it go through my mouth. You definitely don't have to. Inhale your left heel to the sky. Exhale, draw it forward. Round your spine, come into a core plank. Inhale it back up. Exhale, left knee to left tricep or elbow. Inhale up. Left knee to right elbow. Inhale up. Exhale, swing it all the way through, planting it down on your mat, and then wiggle that foot out to the outside edge of your mat, bringing your left shoulder inside of your left knee. Sink your hips to the floor. This is where you can kind of let your hips open. You don't have to think about scissoring them or anything like that. You can lower that knee. Do whatever you need to do to deepen this stretch. Maybe let that leg fall open. I have some light music going in the background. I hope y'all can't hear it through my earbuds, and you can just listen to your own. But it is one of my available playlists, so feel free to go grab one of those for your practice. Coming back up, wiggle that foot back in the center, place that block in front of you. Curl your back toes, first lift into your lunge, getting that stability. Squeeze your belly button in, don't let it just hang out on your leg. And then bring that back foot in a foot or two, planting your back heel. And those toes point at about 2 o'clock. So they're not pointing straight forward. That won't be very happy for your hips. And then slowly straighten into that front leg if you'd like. You can, of course, use your block here. Then take a second to square off your hips. It's very easy for us to open up. Now you're entering into a almost triangle pose. Keep those hips square. That's going to stretch the dead center of your hamstring here. That's what we really want out of pyramid pose. Again, reaching that tailbone long and away from you. I know this sounds silly, but I almost imagine I'm like a rooster, these feathers, and I don't want them to get in the water. So I'm lifting those rooster feathers, or I guess mine, I mean, I'm a girl, so I wouldn't be a rooster, but I don't know what other bird has feathers coming out of its tail. Anything you can think of to lift that tailbone and shine your heart. Now to shift our weight forward, bend your supporting leg, shift your weight forward, bring that block in front of you if you have it, and lift your back leg off the mat. Again, super straight back leg, your right leg that's hovering over the ground, super straight, super strong. Supporting leg can totally be bent, not a problem. Holding here in your split position. And then as you bring your hands maybe to prayer or to airplane, slowly start to float up and see if you can swing that leg all the way through, lifting your knee. So now we're in an upright position, balance posture. You can stay right here. You can bring that foot to tree anywhere along your leg, avoiding your knee. If you want to bring it all the way up, of course, go for it. Let this movement just feel good to you. And if you wobble and if you fall, just laugh. It is all part of the process. I guess our motto today is not to take yourself too seriously, although that's kind of always my motto in yoga. Let the freedom of movement just open you up. Open up your mind, open up your heart. Now we're going to have some fun here. Lift that leg gently off your leg. Bend your supporting leg. That's really important. Start to send your right leg to the back of your mat, letting it hover, reach, and hover, and slowly set it back down, coming into your crescent lunge. Let your hands fall to the mat. Step back, coming to your plank. Take your chaturanga if you'd like. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now you're going to need that strap or whatever you're using in place of your strap. So bring it to about the middle of your mat, on either side, really. Actually, you may want it on your left. That will probably make it the easiest to access. Bring your toes to touch. Float your right leg high in the sky. One little core plank as you squeeze it through. So squeeze, 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 squeeze. Plant that right leg. Inhale into your crescent lunge. It's amazing. I did this flow yesterday, and it was 30 minutes on the dot, but explaining things takes a little longer. This might be a 35-minute class. It'll be all right. Holding your crescent lunge, open up warrior two. Really press your shoulders away from your ears. Guide your knee towards your pinky toe. Lots of energy from your glute, reaching all the way down your leg to that knife outside edge of your foot. Now reach forward like someone's pulling on your hands. This is going to tilt your pelvis back and allow us to come into our side angle. Be really mindful here. This is the most important part about this entire peak posture. Be really mindful about just under here. You can take a peek at the video I'm showing. Right under where your hamstring connects to your glutes and your tailbone. Everything meets right under there in your groin. It's very easy to overstretch or overstrain that area. I've done it. And yoga, while very fun and very beneficial for your body, can kind of target that area inappropriately. So be really, really careful there. Okay, so now that I've given you that warning, open up into your side angle. We won't need your strap quite yet, but we'll need it in just a minute. So here you can reach and hold onto a block or the floor. You can even use support with your elbow, but just reach your left arm up towards the sky. Really open up your shoulders here. Sink low into your lunge. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, cartwheel your hands all the way down. Find your plank. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Inhale your left leg to the sky. Squeeze it through little core plank and place that foot down. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Press your shoulders down. Squeeze that right glute. Get it engaged. Rooting your tailbone down. Now your tail feathers are in the water. So root them down. It's totally fine. Reaching your left arm forward like someone's literally pulling on them. Reach, 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 reach. And then open up into your side angle. You can reach your fingertips towards the sky. Your left fingertips either down to the floor, or you can use support. That might help you really open up your heart. Might feel really, really good. Inhale, reverse your warrior. let your hand just fall to your leg. Don't press on your knee or anything. Just let it fall as you lift, lift, lift. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down. Find your plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Toes to touch. Inhale your right heel to the sky. Swing it all the way through. We're going back to the same place. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Reaching your arm forward, open up into your side angle. And now we're going to take a bind. So if you have that strap, I'll instruct you the strap first. If you don't need it, you know you don't need it. So take your strap and kind of let it fall behind you. And then holding onto your strap, reach your right arm under your thigh and maybe grab onto that strap. So your right arm's under your thigh holding onto the strap, your left arm's up over your back. And then as you kind of pull into that strap and find some tension, let your shoulders open up. Good. And if you don't need the strap, you're just reaching your hands together and then opening. So the deeper you are in your lunge, the easier this will be. Now, this is very intense, so if you need a break, just take a break. Come into your triangle pose or your pyramid or even Prasarita. This is a great resting posture here to stretch it out. If you want to keep going, we're going to progress into our bird of paradise. So with your bind, look at your back toes and start wiggling your back toes to your front toes. Wiggle, 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 little wiggles all the way in. Bend both legs. Now, your weight at the moment is shifting from your front leg to kind of in between to your back. So keep shifting your weight to your back leg, your left leg, and try to start peeling your right toes off the mat. This is where things all of a sudden get really tricky. So if you lose your bind, if you wobble and fall, don't worry. Just try to come back in if you can, if you want to. And then you're going to start to lift your torso, which is going to, because your arms are bound around your leg, lift your leg. The goal here is to get your torso as upright as possible. This all depends on hip flexibility, on shoulder flexibility. There's a lot going on. If you're feeling really good and fancy, you can start to straighten that right leg up into the air. And then we can try to come out the way we came. So lower that back down and then just release. And you can come back into your low lunge. Whoo, that one is intense, but it can be really fun to play around with. So if you're in your low lunge, you can take your chaturanga or lift to downward facing dog. We'll take 3 breaths here for those that are doing their chaturanga. Good. Bring your toes to touch. Lift your left leg high into the sky. Squeeze it into your chest. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Plant that leg in front of you in a lunge. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. The lower you are in the lunge, the easier the following poses will be. So if your thigh feels good and you can handle it, keep lowering. Exhale as you reach forward, open up into your side angle. Now to attempt the bind, take that left arm underneath. So it's underneath and you're going to flip your palm backwards. So you're not touching your bum. The top of your hand is kind of resting on your hip. If you like your strap, throw it over your shoulder. This can be kind of a mind challenge. It always confuses me. And then you can hold on and then let that tension pulling on the strap or your hands open up your heart. I'll hold on to the strap on this side. I'm a little less flexible on my left. And just to show you what it would look like. Start to wiggle that back foot towards you. So most of your weight's on your front leg right here. But wiggle that back foot, wiggle it in, wiggle it in, wiggle it in. Bend both legs. Start to shift the weight onto your back right foot. Your left leg should automatically start peeling off. You're like, that didn't happen. Well, encourage it to peel off the mat. And slowly start to draw your torso up. Your bound arms will also raise your hip. Now, what will happen too if you're using a strap a lot of times is these arms will slide in between your groin and you're like, my leg just fell down. That can happen. So if you are using a strap, you just want to encourage the strap to stay behind your booty and your leg instead of coming down as little butt flops. So I just came out of mine, so I'm going to come back in, which you can definitely be doing. You just want to reach that arm underneath, wrap your arms around, bring that back foot in, bring the left foot towards you, come up on that left foot, and come up straight. Oh, that's good. Oh, let's give it one more try. Good. Now, if you want to straighten your leg, whee, maybe you straighten it for just a second. Be gentle on yourself. Come back down. Come back to your lunge. Awesome. That's Bird of Paradise. You may have hated it, but it might be something new you can try and play with. So you can go through your vinyasa or come to down dog. We'll take 3 breaths here. And then lower down to your knees. We're going to take a little shoulder stretch. That's a lot of work on our arms and shoulders to hold up your leg. So come to your hands and knees. Walk your arms forward. So we're kind of coming into a little puppy pose. Take your right arm, stretch it underneath. Place that shoulder on the mat. And then press into your back and your shoulder. And if you'd like, you can even take your left toes to the back of the mat. This is a weird one, but it just feels so good. It's in a lot of my classes. Gently come out back to your kind of puppy pose position. Take your left arm up underneath you. Plant your head. And then just push into that shoulder gently. You can stay with both knees down. You can lift your right leg, sitting it straight out behind you. And then slowly come back to center. And walk your hands up, sit on your bottom. Swing your legs around. If you've still got that strap, you can keep it nearby. We'll roll onto our backs. Take a gentle bridge pose here. So you can reach towards your feet. You can draw your heels towards your bottom. You shouldn't quite be able to touch them. You want them under your bottom, kind of under your knees. For a little help, you can also hold on to the outside of your mat. This will help your shoulders automatically open up. It can feel really good. Then send your hips to the sky, pressing into your heels, rolling up onto your shoulders so that most of your back bend is in your upper back. And then slowly lower all the way down. Good. I'll take a little hamstring stretch here. So you can put the strap around your right foot, lower your left leg down, and then just gently pull that leg towards you. You can keep it straight, or you can open up your hip and get an inner thigh stretch, whichever one really serves you. It's your choice. Use the strap. You may not need the strap. You can hold onto your leg. I just love the feel of the strap, how it pulls on my foot. So that can be really nice, especially if you're really working on flexibility. You can't quite reach your foot, and holding onto your leg might not be super comfortable. You can relax. You can even use the strap so you can kind of relax your arms and release. Straps are so fun to play with. And release your right leg. Take your left leg into the strap. Let your right leg come down. Bring that leg towards you. And release. We'll take a gentle twist on both sides. Let your arms fall out to the side. Let your knees come all the way over to the right. And then if your shoulder came up, open it back up, placing your left shoulder back on the mat. 2 deep breaths here. On the inhale, bring your knees back up to center. Exhale, collapse them over, and then open up your right arm to the side if it came up at all. Inhale, knees back to center. And then we'll slowly work into our Shavasana. We'll only hold briefly since we're already at our 30 minutes, but if you want to hold longer, what I would encourage you to do, this is one of my favorite things, is to on your playlist or whatever, find like a 2 to 3 minute song. It can certainly be longer, but at least 2 minutes. Encourage yourself to play that song and not move or think or do anything until that song is over. So we'll just take 5 deep breaths here to settle in there to our Shavasana, but if you'd like to hit pause and do that, I would encourage you to. Don't hit pause and leave. Shavasana is really important. So open up your palms to the sky, roll your shoulders up underneath, relax your legs, clear your mind, and count 5 easy breaths. On your next inhale, take a nice big stretch from your fingertips all the way down to your toes. And then slowly roll onto your side and push yourself all the way up to seated. Take a nice deep inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Exhale your hands down to heart center. Close your eyes. Thank yourself for this 30-ish minutes you just spent on your mat. I hope that you felt some freedom of movement. I hope that it allowed your heart to just find some space. I hope it was able to calm your mind. Take that with you as you leave your mat. I pray that you're able to be a blessing to those around you as you go about the rest of your day. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you so much for letting me lead you today. It is always an honor. I hope that from my living room to yours, this practice was a blessing to you. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed learning Bird of Paradise, something new to play with, and I'll see you next time.